Following Iran's missile attacks on 2 US air bases in Iraq, Donald Trump did not release a statement or a speech on the night that news broke, but he did give a speech today. And he appears to have backed down a little bit, which is good news. He gets credit for that because this situation could have escalated to a full-blown war. Now, the missile strikes did not lead to any casualties. No Iraqis or Americans were killed. However, Trump appears to take that into consideration in the statement that he gives. Take a look.
As long as I'm president of the United States, Iran will never be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. Good morning. I'm pleased to inform you the American people should be extremely grateful and happy. No Americans were harmed in last night's attack by the Iranian regime. We suffered no casualties. All of our soldiers are safe, and only minimal damage was sustained at our military bases. Our great American forces are prepared for anything. Iran appears to be standing down, which is a good thing for all parties concerned and a very good thing for the world.
So that statement started off a little strange. In television news production, there's something known as a cold open, where you start off a segment with like a little tasty taste of what this entire story is about, right? And then you give a little more context and then you go back to the heart of the story.
It's like a James Bond movie, basically.
I wish it was that exciting, but it's not. It's just a way of producing a story to make it more interesting and to hook an audience from the very beginning. It seems like Trump did a cold open for his own speech, and he started it off with something that didn't really go along with the rest of his statement or the rest of the beginning of his statement. So let's watch the very beginning of that again.
As long as I'm president of the United States, Iran will never be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. Good morning.
What?
I don't.
Okay, so first of all,
I don't understand that.
Donald Trump's actions in pulling out of the Iran nuclear deal did what?
Well, yeah, it's obviously misinformation that he's spreading.
Right, so he starts it off with a flat out lie. And it's ridiculous because had we remained in the Iran nuclear deal, which involved other countries like China, Russia, European countries, and also involved checks to ensure that they're not developing nuclear weapons, we would have a situation in which Iran were not developing nuclear weapons. In pulling out, Trump basically told them, yeah, go ahead, you can enrich your uranium as much as you want because we've pulled out and we've implemented these sanctions. So you have no reason to comply with this nuclear deal. But you wanna know something crazy? Iran continued complying with that nuclear deal for up to a year. And then the economic sanctions became so crippling to their economy that they decided, well, we have no choice at this point. We need to begin enriching our uranium again. That's exactly what they're doing right now.
Well, and we were talking about rational actors. Why wouldn't they at that point? If they're gonna have the sanctions, why not enrich the uranium anyway? It doesn't make any sense.
No sense, exactly.
But unfortunately, the people who don't have a problem with that opening statement are the same people who've been fed these lies over the past few years from Fox News that Obama signing the deal that made it impossible for them to develop nuclear weapons actually ensured that it would happen. And getting rid of that and them now promising that we will resume enriching uranium, that actually makes it impossible. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't take a 5-minute YouTube video. It doesn't take 20 seconds to explain how nonsensical that is.
So the good news is that Trump says, or at least implies, that he will not pursue Iran militarily, that he's gonna focus on more sanctions, and he clarifies that point in this next clip.
As we continue to evaluate options in response to Iranian aggression, the United States will immediately impose additional punishing economic sanctions on the Iranian regime. These powerful sanctions will remain until Iran changes its behavior.
So
which behavior?
Let's just quickly note that any additional sanctions really have no impact on Iran. The sanctions that he's already implemented and the fact that he has coerced other US allies to avoid doing any business with Iran has crippled its economy. I mean, it's really not gonna have much more impact. In fact, let me give you this statement from Ryan Fahey, former Justice Department prosecutor. He says, sanctions now touch every part of the Iranian economy and are unlikely to have any further impact. So, but you know what, that's fine. I'm just happy that Trump is not going to continue escalating the matter, at least for now.
Well, outside of the ways that he is. So, okay, they might be limited in how much more effect they'll have, but they are an escalation. Sanctions are, they're not gonna see it as fun that these sanctions are increased. He says that he wants NATO to be more involved in the region, and he made no promises in that statement that the US would be leaving the region. They have said since the attack against Soleimani that one of their goals now is the US pulling out of the entire region. Our maintaining our presence there will be seen as a provocation from the point of view of Iran. NATO getting more involved, I don't even know what that means. Many of the NATO powers were involved in the Iran nuclear deal that he pulled out of, but it means something, and they were likely to find that to be provocative.
He's also been on the record multiple times talking about how he doesn't see any value in NATO.
Exactly, yeah, it was a weird switch up in that. But then also, a couple of days ago, they said they're going to renew enriching uranium. And he just said, they need to change their behavior. We're not gonna allow them to have a nuclear weapon. Well, they've said that they're on the path to developing one. And so, look, I know that the media frequently is they're so eager to give him credit, but this de-escalation speech involves some economic escalation and also sets up possible confrontations in the future.
Yeah, no, let me be clear about something. I give Trump zero credit.
Okay, good.
Trump is did you think I was giving him credit?
No, I don't mean you.
No, I'm saying that at the moment, I'm relieved that he's not going to escalate the situation militarily.
Look, I'm glad that he didn't nuke their capital. I'm glad about that.
And look, Trump, again, is someone who is thin-skinned, is very irrational, emotional. At any moment, he's unpredictable. You don't know what he could do. So after those missile attacks were launched by Iran, I was terrified that we were gonna start bombing Iran. We're gonna start sending our military there.
Me
Who knows what he's gonna do? So I'm relieved, but I don't give him credit because he's the one who escalated the situation in the first place. Now, don't be fooled. I mean, he kept talking about military might and how strong the United States is. So he's still gonna use the same strong language, and you're gonna see it in this next clip. But look, it's important to note that engaging in another war is not a popular, people kept saying like, oh, Trump's just looking to get reelected, that's why he's gonna start another war. But it's not 2008, it's not the early 2000s. Things are a little different now. People are exhausted and they're fatigued from all these wars, and it is not a popular position to take. Invading Iran is not a popular position to take. In fact, later in the show, we're gonna show you examples of Republican senators who came out, and senators other than Rand Paul, who came out against Donald Trump on this issue, aggressively so. So it's not a popular position to take, and that gives me a little hope. But there's no credit for Trump when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Trump is doing what he thinks is best for him and his re-election chances, and I think he realizes that his base isn't really interested in yet another war. With that said though, here he is bragging about the US military.
The American military has been completely rebuilt under my administration at a cost of $2.5 trillion. US armed forces are stronger than ever before. Our missiles are big, powerful, accurate, lethal, and fast. Under construction are many hypersonic missiles. The fact that we have this great military and equipment, however, does not mean we have to use it. We do not want to use it. American strength, both military and economic, is the best deterrent.
Oh God, that was so weird. So
look, this is the kind of stuff that you can expect from Trump, but later he almost pleaded with Iran to tone things down. It was almost like a peace plea. So that's a good sign. Again, he gets no credit for it. You don't get to stoke tensions and then brag about how you calm things down. You shouldn't have escalated the situation in the first place. But at least for this moment, and it could change in an hour, things do feel a little bit calmer.
A little bit.
Yeah.
We'll see. That speech, if nothing else, should be a reminder to everyone listening of what an amazing amount of money we waste every single year on our military. The media should be full of, like, oh yeah, it's 2.5 trillion. So what have we gotten for that money? We get to occupy Iraq in bases that nobody even knew about before yesterday, to take out some terrorists that nobody even knew existed before yesterday, or not any of the regular people listening anyway. It's a complete waste of money.
Yep.
We could spend it on virtually anything else, and the American people would be far better off.
And that should be discussed in the press. But other than independent media, you don't hear that discussion about how much of our resources get wasted on this weaponry, on the military, never on the troops. Right? We're not into giving troops decent pay for risking their lives for these nonsense, endless wars. But we have no problem in paying these military contractors and weapons manufacturers untold billions of dollars each year just to continue this military-industrial complex. But at least we talk about it, and at least for the moment, it seems like Trump is not going to further escalate the situation with Iran.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.